Welcome back to the Victory Education Lounge, everyone. I'm your host, Maurice, and today we're diving into part 19 of our series on insulin resistance. Before we begin, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts or experiences below. Your engagement helps us reach more people with this vital information. Today, we're exploring insulin resistance across different populations and ethnicities. We'll delve into how insulin resistance manifests differently among various ethnic groups, the genetic and environmental factors at play, and what this means for prevention and treatment strategies. We'll discuss solutions, management techniques, and prevention strategies, along with their pros and cons, and provide real-life examples to illustrate these points. Let's start by understanding that while insulin resistance is a global health issue, its prevalence and manifestation can vary significantly across different populations and ethnicities. Insulin resistance, as we know, is a significant global health issue. However, its prevalence, and the ways it manifests, can vary quite a bit across different populations and ethnicities. This is due to a complex interplay of genetic predispositions, environmental factors, and lifestyle habits. Understanding these variations is crucial in developing effective prevention and treatment strategies. It allows us to tailor these strategies to the specific needs and characteristics of different ethnic groups, thereby optimizing their effectiveness. So, join us on this journey as we delve into the world of insulin resistance, exploring its diverse manifestations across various populations and ethnic groups. Let's start by understanding that while insulin resistance is a global health issue, its prevalence and manifestation can vary significantly across different populations and ethnicities. Firstly, we'll discuss insulin resistance among African Americans. This population faces a higher prevalence of insulin resistance compared to their Caucasian counterparts. Genetic predispositions, dietary habits, and socioeconomic factors all contribute to this disparity. Let's consider the example of Sarah, a 45-year-old African-American woman. Despite maintaining a balanced diet and engaging in regular physical activity, Sarah has been diagnosed with insulin resistance. This is not an isolated case. Studies show that an African-American woman of Sarah's age has a 60% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes than a Caucasian woman in the same age bracket. These findings underscore the need for targeted screening and personalized interventions in the African American community. Understanding these disparities is a crucial step towards bridging the gap in health equity. Sarah's case highlights the heightened risk of insulin resistance among African Americans. Now let's move on to Hispanic Latino Americans. The prevalence of insulin resistance in this group is higher, especially among Mexican Americans. It's a complex interplay of genetics, diet, and lifestyle factors. For instance, consider the case of Juan, a 50-year-old Mexican-American man. Despite maintaining a body mass index lower than what is typically considered at risk, Juan was diagnosed with insulin resistance. This came as a surprise to him, as he led an active lifestyle and had no family history of diabetes. Yet, like many in his community, he was at an increased risk. Researchers believe that a combination of genetic predisposition, diet high in processed carbohydrates, and sedentary behavior contribute to this heightened risk. It's important to note that while these factors may increase the risk, they don't make insulin resistance inevitable. With lifestyle modifications and early intervention, it's possible to manage and even reverse insulin resistance. Juan's case exemplifies the increased risk faced by Hispanic Latino Americans. Next, we'll look at the Asian American population. A distinctive characteristic of this group is that they tend to develop insulin resistance at lower body mass indexes compared to other ethnicities. This is particularly important because it may lead to underdiagnosis based on BMI criteria alone. Take for example Mai, a 38-year-old Vietnamese American woman. She has a normal BMI and leads a relatively active lifestyle. However, during a routine checkup, her blood work revealed insulin resistance. This was quite a surprise to Mai, who thought her normal BMI meant she was not at risk. It's crucial to note that Asian Americans like Mai may need to be screened for insulin resistance at lower BMI thresholds, given their unique susceptibility. Mai's case underscores the need for a nuanced understanding of insulin resistance among Asian Americans. Let's turn our attention to Native Americans. This group presents a unique case in the study of insulin resistance, as some tribes, like the Pima Indians, exhibit extraordinarily high rates of this condition, as well as type 2 diabetes. Consider John, a 55-year-old Pima Indian. John hails from a community where over half the adults are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, a staggering figure that underscores the severity of the issue. The factors contributing to this high prevalence are multifaceted, involving a complex interplay of genetics, environment, and lifestyle. For instance, rapid transitions from traditional lifestyles to more sedentary, westernized ways of living have led to increased obesity rates, a key risk factor for insulin resistance. Moreover, studies suggest that the Pima Indians may have a genetic predisposition to store fat efficiently, a trait that, coupled with a modern high-calorie diet, significantly increases their risk of developing insulin resistance. John's case represents the severe impact of insulin resistance in certain Native American tribes. Now we'll explore the situation among Pacific Islanders. This unique group of people, spread across thousands of islands in the Pacific Ocean, faces a considerable challenge when it comes to insulin resistance. Pacific Islanders, including native Hawaiians like our example, Leilani, have high rates of obesity and insulin resistance. These health issues are partly due to genetic factors that make this population more susceptible to weight gain and insulin resistance. However, dietary changes also play a significant role. A shift from traditional nutrient-dense foods to a more Western diet high in processed foods and sugars has contributed to these rising rates of obesity and insulin resistance. Leilani, a 40-year-old native Hawaiian, represents a population with one of the highest diabetes rates in the United States. The story of Leilani and her fellow Pacific Islanders serves as a stark reminder of the complex interplay of genetics, diet, and lifestyle in insulin resistance. Leilani's case demonstrates the significant challenges faced by Pacific Islanders regarding insulin resistance. As we've seen, insulin resistance manifests differently across various ethnic groups due to a combination of genetic and environmental factors. This complex interplay impacts how insulin resistance is detected, managed, and prevented in different populations around the world. In our journey thus far, we've discovered that African Americans, for instance, have a higher prevalence of insulin resistance compared to their Caucasian counterparts. Hispanic and Latino Americans, particularly those of Mexican descent, also face an increased risk. For Asian Americans, the surprise comes in the form of developing insulin resistance at lower body mass indexes compared to other ethnicities. Native American tribes like the Pima Indians suffer from extremely high rates of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes, while Pacific Islanders grapple with obesity and insulin resistance due to both genetic factors and dietary changes. South Asians face an increased risk of insulin resistance and cardiovascular disease, even at lower body mass indexes, emphasizing the need for early screening in this population. Middle Eastern populations, particularly in Gulf countries, are experiencing a rise in insulin resistance rates due to rapid lifestyle changes. Even within Europe, variations exist with higher rates in Eastern Europe compared to Mediterranean countries. In Africa, urban areas are seeing an uptick in insulin resistance rates, and Australian Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples are disproportionately affected by insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. These stark differences underscore the importance of tailoring prevention and treatment strategies to the unique needs of each population. Generic approaches may not yield the desired results, and could even exacerbate the problem in some cases. Understanding these disparities is not just a matter of academic interest, it's a pressing health issue that affects millions of people worldwide. By acknowledging and addressing these differences, we can make strides in combating insulin resistance globally, contributing to healthier populations and a healthier world. Remember, while ethnic background can influence insulin resistance risk, it's just one factor among many. Individual lifestyle choices, socioeconomic factors, and access to healthcare all play crucial roles. It's essential to approach this topic with cultural sensitivity and avoid stereotyping. Each individual, regardless of their ethnic background, should be assessed and treated based on their unique health profile and circumstances. Thank you for joining us for this exploration of insulin resistance across different populations and ethnicities. I hope this information helps you understand the complex interplay between genetics, environment, and culture in metabolic health. Remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. Stay tuned for our next video where we'll discuss innovative approaches to culturally competent diabetes prevention programs. The information provided in this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended as medical advice or to replace consultation with a qualified healthcare professional. Always consult your doctor before making significant changes to your lifestyle or starting any new health regimen.